If you're cruising in the Southern Caribbean, there is a good chance you are going to visit the ABC Islands, and that is Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And we have an earlier video on Aruba, and we've been to Bonaire, but this video is all about Curacao. And this is a stock video. I wish it was mine, but this is exactly what it is. Really a nice landscape of Queen Emma's Bridge and a little bit of the city. There's so much to do. It's a large island, comparatively speaking, to some of the other Caribbean islands, and you can swim with turtles. And I'm going to tell you about that later because I was lucky enough to get to do it. We've been to Curacao at least 3 times, and luckily for us, the first mate has a former colleague who lives in Curacao. So 2 times we've done it completely on our own. One time we were lucky enough to have our fellow shipmate join us or actually be a guide for us. And with that is it makes us a little bit unique because not only do you have our perspective how to do it yourself, but we're also going to share our friends' recommendations from living on the island. And we'll share those at the end, his best places for restaurants and where he took us on the day that we actually could go a little bit further outside of the city. So let's talk about Curacao. Hi, we're the Cruise Port Captain Crew, exploring the world one port at a time. After more than 20 years of cruising, we've learned the best port days are usually the ones we've planned ourselves. Doing it on your own lets you explore deeper, save money, and truly make the most of every stop. Join us for port guides, travel tips, and cruise know-how to help you make every port day count. Check the video description for links to our favorite resources and tools that help us cruise smarter, and maybe they'll inspire your next adventure. Now on to the video. It is a Southern Caribbean port, and as far as the islands go, it is quite large. So it's 38 miles long or 61 kilometers, and 2 to 9 miles, depending on the width, or 14 kilometers wide. So there is a lot to do, and the where the ship is, that is where the ships dock in Willemstad, which is the capital of the island. The picture from the ship shows you exactly how close you are right to the main action. You're at the dock here, and you just go down to wherever the disembarkation is and walk off. The next video will show you exactly how easy it is to walk off. It takes they've built this terminal for cruise ships and mega ships, which makes it really nice because there's no extra shuttles and there's no extra walks. It doesn't take long to get from the ship actually to the main part of the city. Like many islands in the Caribbean, they are excited for cruisers and they are ready for cruisers. So just at the end of that little walkway is an information desk. If you have any questions, they can set you up with transportation or just help you get into the right direction. Little zooming in just a little bit further on the map. So there are 2 terminals, so you could be at either one, but it doesn't really matter. You're still within just, a couple of minutes one from the other. And you're basically just going to follow along the bay there to get to the main action. Our basics for Curacao is it is a part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. I'll tell you about that in a second. But being so that Dutch and English are the official languages and Papiamento as well, that is the local island dialect. Money, they operate on the Caribbean guilder, even though they're part of the Netherlands, they don't operate on euros, but US dollars are accepted pretty much everywhere. So I gave you a sign of what one of the shops was. So you can see that the prices are in the local Caribbean guilder and they're also in US dollars. Immigration, super easy. You just walked off the ship. They were just, happy we were there. No extra thing. I also found out too, there are no ride shares. So there's no Uber, there's no Lyft. Taxis are very regulated if you want to do one-on-one. And of course they have public buses as well. So if you need transportation, you might want to just swing by that information desk and ask them what your options are. And of course, when you get off at the end of the pier, there will be other transportation companies there as well if you want to go on your own for that day. Curaçao was once more a concrete part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, but at this time, so they do have their independence. They're autonomous and they're self governing, but they do follow within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, which means that the King of Holland or the Netherlands is their head of state. Being so that they have such strong ties to the Netherlands, it is a very popular vacation destination for Dutch people, especially them trying to escape a Dutch winter. So expect a Dutch tourist everywhere. And that is also, you'll see the influence of Holland everywhere. As you might have seen some of the other pictures where the architecture very much looks like Holland. We've done a video in Amsterdam, and if you compare the two, Curacao looks very much like Amsterdam with lots of bright colors instead of stone brick houses. So a lot of the influence from Holland, but also a lot of influence from the Caribbean, which makes it a really nice, wonderful melting of cultures. A couple of more details that'll make your day in Curacao even better is it will be hot. You are in the Southern Caribbean. It will not matter what time of year you visit, it will be hot. So you always want to have your water with you and be sure that you have sunscreen on you. We made a stop at McDonald's for milkshake. I will say too, this was the only that I can remember in that downtown area, the only American um, restaurant brand. So you can always find a McDonald's and you can always get on Wi-Fi at a McDonald's. The other thing about weather is if you're concerned about hurricanes, they don't get hurricanes, or it's extremely rare to get a hurricane in the Southern Caribbean. They tend to go north. The bad part is that you have to go from the north to the south to get to the Southern Caribbean. So it's a little less of a concern if you are traveling from May to November, um, but just beware it's going to be hot and just kind of keep your eye on hurricanes, but that's only because the ship's going to probably have to go around one to get to Curacao. One of our rough water warnings, if you are not familiar with going to a restroom in Europe, as many times they charge in public toilets to use them, and that is the custom in Curacao. This was $1, whoa, or 1 guilder to use a public toilet. So just have extra change with you, or if you go to somewhere like McDonald's, of course, purchase something if you're hanging out there, or a restaurant. They're not going to charge you in the restaurant, but if you're out and about and you see that sign, you're definitely going to need to have some change with you. This is going to be that classic do it yourself if you don't want to go far and you just want to stay in Willemstad. It's so easy to do. Always, when you are planning your port day, you want to know how long you are in port. This particular day, and this is the last time we went, we were there from 8:15, so you can roughly get off the ship by 8:45 until 4:30 in the afternoon. And we basically stayed in Willemstad City Center. The big attraction there is Queen Emma's Bridge, and there's also a maritime museum. But we mostly just walked around, and it's very easy to do. This is going to be that classic do it yourself if you don't want to go far and you just want to stay in Willemstad. It's so easy to do. Always, when you are planning your port day, you want to know how long you are in port. This particular day, and this is the last time we went, we were there from 8:15, so you can roughly get off the ship by 8:45 until 4:30 in the afternoon. And we basically stayed in Willemstad City Center. The big attraction there is Queen Emma's Bridge, and there's also a maritime museum. But we mostly just walked around. Willemstad is broken into half, literally across the bay, into Otrabanda and Punda, and you simply walk across the bridge to get one from one side to the other. And it is really the classic part of the old town, and where really those traditional Dutch looking style architecture is, that are just brilliantly painted the colors of the Caribbean. How you get there, it's so easy. You can see that there's a walkway behind me. The ship is right in front of me, and you just have to follow along the walkway. It could not be easier. Your first kind of obstacle that you're going to run into is you walk along the bay is Riff Fort, and it is a entertainment center, and you will walk through it to get to Queen Emma's Bridge. So easy, just walk through. You see where the woman is walking through the gate there. You're just going to walk through there, and the next piece I'll show you what it looks like inside. There's a full-blown entertainment area of restaurants and bars. Of course, if you go early in the day, there's not too much going on because we just started, but we are being welcomed by a lovely local band. Dutch people take their coffee very seriously. And at this point, you've probably been on the ship for a while. And if you haven't purchased the specialty coffee, you've probably been exposed to some terrible coffee. So, this is a smooth sailing tip, being that the first mate is half German and half Dutch. So, he knows his family knows all about the Dutch taking their coffee very seriously. Make a stop at Dow Egbert's in Reef Fort and get yourself a nice cup of coffee before you move on. And once you pass Reef Fort, you will see Queen Emma's Bridge. This is the first mate right in front of it. Again, everything is very visible, very nearby. This shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes all the way from the ship to the bridge. The big thing about this bridge is how it swings open, and that's what makes it fun. And this next short clip will show you how the bridge works in action. This is on the Punda side of Willemstad, and we didn't find many supermarkets or convenience store, but we did find this one, and it's always good to go into a supermarket to uh, have a quick water break. You're certainly going to find the best prices there, especially if it's more of a local and not a convenience store, but really a local supermarket. So check this out, New Plaza Supermarket. Now we've gone to the back, we've gone back over the bridge, or we've taken a ferry. If the bridge is operating, they do have a ferry service that will also take you across the bay. This will show up also in many of your guidebooks and probably on the shore excursions, Cura Hollanda. And it is a restored kind of artsy, outdoorsy area. It was pretty quiet when we were there. This was probably more about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it does seem like it's more open for restaurants and bars, but they do have shopping here as well. So the next short clip will show you what it looks like. It's definitely worth checking out. There's just not a lot of action going on during the day, more than likely when your ship is there. If you don't want to stay in Williamstad, or you have other, you want to use this for a beach day, I will show you what, when we visited, not the last time, but in, I think it was 2018, we were there, and our friend, Mike's his name, Mike picked us up, and I'll show you what he took us to do. Again, we needed a car because there is not uh, ride share and taxis. You need a taxi to do some of this stuff because the buses also don't go everywhere as well. But I'll show you some other options if you are interested in exploring the island a little bit further. To visit Christopher National Park, again, you do need transportation, and you first need to go visit the office to get your ticket. There, the purchase entry into it. Again, it so helped having Mike there to show us around. But you can also book, I'm sure, a local excursion through Get Your Guide or going to that information desk. But it's going to say that you can hike it, and the first mate did, and I'm going to show you a few of his pictures from that, and you can decide if this is something for you or not. Picture number one, not too bad. He's about halfway there. So I was out. Not me. I don't like to hike. I am, if you've watched this before, I always say I'm a Florida kid and flat's the way to go. Halfway, he's not too bad. And here he is all the way at the top. So he made it all the way to the top, but look how bad his t-shirt is drenched. And his recommendation is, unless you really are a hiker, it is probably not a good thing for you to do in one day. It was really hot. He was very uncomfortable. He made it, but he was really, really worn out when he finally got back to us. And again, this was a few years ago too. So now we're a little bit older. Knees aren't as great as they used to be. So just be realistic. If you are hiking and this is your jam, go for it. But if it's not, you might want to think about it. Mike also drove us to Playa Piscado to swim with the turtles. Now, this is representative video because when we went, I didn't have, the fancy camera and stuff. So it's just representative, like how close you could get to the turtles. But they do just swim right by you. They swim over you. But at this bay, you could just walk in to the beach and they were right there. So scuba gear wasn't necessary. Snorkeling gear was great to just have it on your face so you could really see clearly. But even that wouldn't have been necessary. I don't remember if they had any stands there to rent snorkel gear, but definitely worth it. I couldn't believe it. I don't think I've ever been so close to turtles in my entire life in the sea. The other money shot is Playa Canepa Grande, and this is we're looking onto that beach here, and definitely a money shot. So again, if you just want like a beach day, this is a great place to go, but you probably do have to arrange transportation to get there. He also took us to this fun restaurant, Playa Lunga. Now, he said he doesn't remember exactly the names of everything, but this is what he thinks. And this was really looked over onto a beach. Beautiful day. And we were so lucky. We're so lucky. But you can do this too. You just have to arrange your own transportation. And here is the final bit. Mike had some local recommendations for restaurants that he enjoys. I know so many of you, when you cruise, you want to get a real sense of what's happened locally. So these are his two recommendations. The Visselish, whatever that is, that's a Dutch word. And I believe it means fish, the fish restaurant probably. So again, you get your transportation to there. And he has a nearby beach recommendation too. And then he also recommended soul food. So if you want to get a taste of what the locals love, those are two of his recommendations. I hope all of this helps you enjoy your day in Curacao. We've been lucky to be there a couple of times on Caribbean itineraries. It's very easy to get around on your own. Once you start beyond Willemstad, though, you will need to get some help to get around, but it's worth it. Especially, they have some gorgeous beaches. Swimming with the turtles, you can't do that many places so easily. If you like this video or it was helpful to you, please like it and share it with your friends who are also going, hopefully, on your Caribbean cruise with you or with other cruisers. And thanks, Cruiseport Captain Crew. That means our subscribers. We appreciate all of you. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, we please invite you to do so. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to us. And we're happy to make videos that actually are more targeted. So as a subscriber, you can always email us and tell us what you'd like to hear. Just hit those buttons below. If you have questions or comments or places you recommend in Curacao, leave those too. We are a bunch of community members who are just making the world more accessible. Until then, I'll see you in the next video and make life a bon voyage.